Thank you for joining me on the BOPTMN channel. And today we're going to be reviewing Atreyu base model version 2, V2. Any of you that have seen any of my podcasts or seen my previous review video on the base model, the previous base model, will know I'm a huge Atreyu fan. And you can watch my earlier video to find out why I love the shoe so much. But now we're on to the base model version 2, which hasn't changed a lot from V1. So just about everything I had to say about the previous base model is still accurate. So just to give you an idea, I run Ironman. I am a triathlon. Triathlons, obviously, an Ironman's a triathlon. I run ultra marathons. I'm trying to get up to 100 miles. I just recently ran 100 kilometers, so 62.2 miles, literally 2 days ago. And I ran them in these. So the V2 base models, I think I've done 3 runs in them. I basically did a marathon last week. And just before that, I did a quick first run to try them out for like 7 miles. And then I did my 100 kilometers. So I'm just around 100 miles in this shoe right now. It's interesting to compare to the old base model. So I've had 3 versions of the previous base model, and all of them I've gone just about to 400 miles or beyond. So when I switched to this shoe, the most recent shoe before that I've been wearing is the 400 mile shoe, which is obviously a bit more worn down. So right off, this felt very bouncy compared to my old shoes. But in my head, when I was running in these, to be honest with you, from the base model ones to these, it didn't feel much different. It's still extremely lightweight. They say it's even lighter weight than what it was before. Everything I loved about the shoe. You can feel the robe, but you got plenty of cushion. No extra support that in the shoe that causes chafing or anything like that. It breathes really well. I would say the one thing, and I would like to have, the version 1s aren't available anymore, or very limited sizes, and pretty soon won't be available anymore. But one of the things I got to say, I think where I noticed the biggest difference, and I don't know enough about the foam change that they did in these shoes from the V1, but when I wanted to run faster, I noticed a lot more bounce, which I don't think I noticed before with the older model. So running at just a comfortable, my marathon pace or an easy marathon pace felt the same as my old models. But then when I do a tempo run, I could really feel the bounce more. So as soon as I started to pick up that pace a little bit more spring, not just a comfortable stride, that's where I noticed the difference in the foam. And I think that's my hunch and where you're going to notice the difference. They say that this foam should last longer, and I gotta say, just looking at it, it's interesting. Myself and a couple friends of mine that have these shoes too, I tend to notice that outside of the heel it rubs right here, and I think we all have the same thing, and none of us are really heel strikers. It just kind of wears there, which I think you could see here. And here's my older 400 mile end. You can see it's definitely worn down in there. This one, to me, at 100 miles, when I looked at my shoes back then, this is definitely wearing less. Significantly less? No, but less. So I would say that they're probably accurate in saying it lasts longer. Some other things. The only, and this is nitpicking here, the only thing I think I liked about the previous model than this model, the tongue on this previous model it feels thinner. There's a thickness, there's more padding, I believe, on the newer model. The only time I notice this is when I'm lacing up. When I first put on the shoe, tighten my laces, which I don't like to have an overly tight shoe, I can feel this pushing on the top of my foot, where the other one I never noticed that. We're talking about a super minor thing, because once I start running, I've never noticed it at all. So it's no detraction there. They've put some more breathability, some holes in here where it didn't have before, but I never had any breathability issues, so if I had to choose, I'd probably go back and put holes in this version of the tongue and get rid of this foam up here. But like I said, that's such a minor thing. I'm a huge fan of this company. I love supporting products assembled in the United States. They're right out of Austin, Texas. So I think that's my review. I'm going to try to add some footage. Oh, I got one other thing. So when you're running, these are definitely a straight line running shoe. And I'm going to try to put some footage in here in the video, which maybe might be happening now, of me kind of turning a corner. And you can literally see my foot kind of coming off the side of the shoe a bit. These are not, you're not going to go out and play football or soccer or anything like that in these shoes. These are not, you're not going to be doing a shuttle drill. These are running in a straight line kind of shoe. They're specifically made to be a running shoe. There's literally no support in this. Straight line, perfect. Turn a corner. Like I even have to be cautious in my corners. Now we're talking tighter corners, not, a normal road bend isn't going to make even a U-turn, that a car could do that kind of, or that's about where you're starting to come out of the shoe a little bit where you have to slow down and just be careful. So I just want you to be aware of that. This is definitely a straight line running shoe. And the one other thing I got to say I love about these shoes. So like I told you, I'm on my fourth pair now. These are some of my favorite shoes to walk around in after I've used them. I would say when I first got them, probably not the most comfortable walk around. I was even wondering, am I going to like these as running shoes? Once I run in them, I love them. But once they're kind of broken down and broken in and you've for me, it's about 400 miles is where I start to hang these up. At 400 now, this shoe, throw it in the washing machine, comes out great. It's my favorite walking around shoes, and now I've got 4 different colors of them. So that's my final bit on the version 2. Like I said, I couldn't more highly recommend Atreyu as a running company. 2 or 3 people I've recommended to, or even bought pairs for, to have them try out. Big fans. I don't know anybody that's disappointed in the shoe. I run into people in the street wearing them, and it's kind of like a little community out there. But it's a great little secret that I think more of you should know about. So, and that's all I got. Have a great day. Thanks for joining me.